Whoa, man. Did I just knock that out of place? I think I might have done. Maybe I just don't. Oh, I'm so sorry about this. Oh, and now the sun comes out. Okay. I'll be with you in a second, folks. I promise I will be. I'm just trying to get the cameras into an appropriate position for me to say. I got no idea where that is pointing to. We'll just let it go, shall we? Okay, right, so, hi, how you doing now? So I was going to do maybe more, maybe next year. But I can't find the lyrics. They're cutting down trees outside, so that's the extent of it, A and B. Oh. Everything's falling over here. So I'm just going through. So long-term viewers, you're not going to hear anything here. Well, I'll tell you what you're going to hear. You're going to hear me and the princess. Unless I get cranky after 2 bars. Change my mind. So nothing new has been done this morning, but I'm doing some... Oh, man. I'm doing some... I don't dislike that. Sometimes you get a weird tuning. Accidentally like it. So I'm doing some old stuff here, but in new arrangements. So this is me and the princess. Debating whether to change the key or not. What do you reckon? I'm just going to be doing them loose, so wander around as is my wont. Let's have a plectrum. And then we can get started. Yeah, it's not too far off, is it really? You know? Gotta find the vocal pitch now. Princess came from a broken home where she'd taken many knocks. Ran away at 14 and made a living out of picking locks. One thing was understood all around: she belonged to a guy they called the big man, and anyone who messed with her was gonna wind up with no hands. I met her in a bar one night when the temperature was 9 below. 4 months later and we're still together, and I'm keeping my head low. But she had a restless urge. She never liked things being easy. She started staying out with me all night, said, I don't care who sees me. I threw my cards in front of her. I said, tell me where I stand. She said, you don't dictate to me. That's something you better understand. I told you right from the start we shouldn't be any more than friends. And I don't know if I'll even remember you after this whole thing ends. I looked back around the room, saw the start of the next new deal. I snapped, call me if you change your mind about the way you feel. I left the place in daylight. I knew it was a big mistake. A cold voice behind me said, boys, give this guy a ride. He's got a lot of things we're gonna break. Princess watched from the window above, just like I was sure she would. Even if I didn't make it to the dawn, I was sure the plan was good. It was sly and it was deceitful, but I knew that it had to be done. You can't let people write out your life, or you're not anyone. big man's pocket phone started ringing. He smiled and said, hello. I heard Princess on the other end of the line saying, please won't you let him go. Then she started talking down to him, trying to change his point of view. I was thinking, if I survive the night, it's gonna be thanks to you. She was waiting at the warehouse by the time that we arrived. She pulled a gun to the big man's head and said, how'd you like to stay alive? He gave her an evil smile as he let us get into his car. He sneered, you better tell him what you want to quick, honey, 'cause you ain't going far. The windscreen had been spiderwebbed. We hit the highway fast. Drove all night looking in the rearview mirror, praying we wouldn't run out of gas. We turned down an old dirt track. She said we'll rest up here for a while, when she saw a cop behind us wearing a gun and an evil smile. Cop said, I saw you guys pulling down here like the devil was on your spine. Now let's see how much what you got is yours and how much of it is mine. Princess pointed the gun at him, but the click said the clip was empty. He said, shame you shot your lover, baby, and I knew that he meant me. Suddenly a shot ran out and the cop jerked 2 steps back. I saw a red stain appear beneath his heart, and then it all went black. I woke up in a motel room with a hell of a bruise on my head, and Princess's note inside my hand. Goodbye was all it read. Next thing I know about anything, it was on the next day's news. Big man shot a cop and then killed himself. That's how it all came through. Nothing was said about Princess. Her name was never mentioned at all. But if she ever wants to see me again, she knows she's only got to call. Okay, what shall we do now? Stop? Oh, you're so mean. Me and the Princess, I'm really going back into ancient history. I've just done a new version of Acts, which I wrote in '94. Me and the Princess, I wrote in Braille, 1989. Yeah, it seems like it. Yeah. One of my old band memories used to call my mini movie songs. Yours sounds like mini movies, he said. And of course, I just go through. I took it as a compliment. I hope it was meant as one. You know what occurred to me just a few minutes ago? Well, not a few minutes ago, but when I was putting the lyrics to Acts up, because I thought the last song I was ever going to write, that was the idea. The last song I was going to write was I wrote a few days ago, 4 days ago now, and it was called, and it still is called, And Love Is You, and I thought that's a good place to stop. And it was also the 137th song of the year that I'd written, which matched my previous best ever year for compositions. Best, of course, is a very loose word, isn't it? You know. there's a kind of symmetry to it, you know. So it matches 1994, 30 years later, 137 songs. And well, I mean, it was a kind of false figure in that was for the whole year in 1994. And this year it came through on the 20th of, in case you're wondering, on the 20th of October. So but again, you know, I mean, you might write 137 songs on January the 1st and then not write another song in a year. So, you know, time is as ephemeral a measure as the word best is, really, isn't it? And, but then I wrote Hyena, not yesterday, the day before. And okay, so this is my most prolific year for songwriting now. Which is where I was going for. It's taken me longer than it took me to sing the song, you know. So why do you keep going up? I think I'm just shrinking every night. Overnight I have to keep moving this down. Yeah, so Hyena was the 138th song of the year. So 2024, my daughter said to me Wednesday. So my daughter said to me on Monday, and I was telling her that I'd written my last ever song. Sorry to lie to you, Emily. I do apologise, my precious darling. And I said, I've just written a song yesterday and I'm uploading it. Because I'm not writing any new songs, so there's like 50 versions of it, you know. This song called And Love Is You. That's kind of a nice song. I say so myself. Very positive. It's about that initial symmetry being in love, you know, when you both mesh together. I'm going off on a tangent. Donald Trump's got nothing on me, does he, huh? And so and I said, it's my 137th song of the year, Emily. And she said, 137th song, she said, Daddy. Emily's 10, by the way. And very, very talented musically, humorously, intellectually, any kind of way you mention. And so is my beautiful 12-year-old son, Bill. And she said, well, you'll run out of things to say. And I thought, well, I've been doing this for 42 years now and I haven't run out of things to say yet, you know. Because my songs are what I about, you know, love, stroke emotions, and injustice. And those two things, they are reoccurrences on a second-by-second basis from time immemorial. So there's always been injustice and there's always been love. Strange paradox, really. So there's always fuel for the fire and fuel for the ire as well, really. But now I'm in 138 songs for the year. So Emily, you were wrong. So Daddy doesn't run out of things to say or to write about. But I do need to write another song because the last song I ever wrote is called Hyena. And it's a very angry song. I mean, it's me attacking bullies, you know. So I'm writing a song to attack people. Go check it out, you know. It's got some interesting logos on it. That's where I do my psycho killer voice on it, you know. And so I might have to sit down and write another love song to someone, you I expect. I'd like to go out on a love song, you know. Although if I went out on a song castigating bullies, that wouldn't be a bad exit, would it? Hands up all of you who have stayed to the end. Okay. So, hello Plectrum, so you want to hear about another song I wrote in?